Hello, beautiful beings. What a delight it is to be with you all today. How are you doing? Because if you're like me, you've been experiencing days that feel absolutely incredible, and then it plummets. The next day sucks. Then it feels absolutely incredible, and then it plummets. So this really tells me that the duality is getting closer and closer together. And, we're shaking out, and then we're bouncing up and we're, coming into being. Now we're working on stabilizing in these higher places being peace, love, ease, grace, and we're having less of the tumultuousness. That's what we're working towards as a collective, because we want to be moving towards community, moving towards unity. And I have a really great message for those on the Sacred Union Path or who identify with being on the Sacred Union Path. These videos are for the people who watch them. And instead of using the languaging of masculine and feminine, I assume it's mostly women who listen, but if it's wherever you identify. But I'm trying to really reframe these readings so that it's one counterpart and the other counterpart, because the unity within us is becoming so much stronger. All right, so here we go. And if you don't know me, I'm Hailey. I'm a clairvoyant, and I am happy to be doing readings because I am also on this path of sacred union, and every day I'm so curious as to what's coming up. And I've had several conversations within this day that have been revolving around similar themes, really looking at where we're spending too much time focusing on the shedding of the skin, not coming off, and I still gotta heal this and I gotta do that. If we're focused so much on that versus I'm coming into my new skin, you can still be shedding your old skin while coming into your new skin, but which direction are you looking? And, can you be like, wow, I'm feeling so much more radiant in this new skin. And this is feeling, I've got a little sliver over here. I've just got to take that off and peel it away. So that was the metaphor that I thought of today. And maybe we can all embrace our inner snakes in this year of the snake, which, holy moly, it's October. The year of the snake is almost over. So let's keep transmuting. We are doing good work. And this drawing is really beautiful. I'm going to need one more clarification card because I'm not sure what that's about. Can you give me more clarification? Okay. Okay. Oh, that's exactly what it's talking about. Okay. So I started off with connecting with the inner child. So this being the soul lessons of what's being worked on, what's being navigated. And for those watching this reading, we got the yellow brick road. Okay, this is the sun. This is the bright golden energies. This is positive. Now, I have said that a lot of times lately when the sun has come up, it has represented more ego stuff. But this time it's not. It feels like it's representing community coming together, working together, and following the path that leads us towards the greatest outcome, and doing it together. When Dorothy sets out on the yellow brick road, she starts off alone, and then she meets the scarecrow. It's about the mind, okay? And then she meets the Tin Man, the heart, and then she meets the cowardly lion, the lion who has who's about courage. Okay, so a theme moving forward, and I'm gathering this from a meditation that I listened to earlier with Lee Harris, but it was talking about the ego, the heart, and the will. So that really feels like what's being represented here, as these different counterparts emerge from Dorothy, and then she has her trusty companion, Toto, along the road. So it's whether this represents you coming together in community, you coming together in sacred partnership. The journey isn't meant to feel alone anymore. It's meant to embody all parts of us as we step forward and we move with direct, clear intention. Now, we have to be moving forward with this direct, clear intention. Otherwise, we are getting lost within the process. So, ask, what does this look like internally? And I got the Four of Wands. Now, this is a wonderful card. It also came up earlier with when I was doing a reading with a friend. And the Four of Wands is a card of community. It's coming together. Again, it's celebration, coming together in love. This is a union card for sure. So what this tells me is these two cards together, as those watching this video, is really working to integrate the wholeness of their being. You know, if this is the divine feminine collective that we're being, we are looking towards the positive. We are holding down these visions for union and these heart-centered truths. And this is a really beautiful thing. So what does this look like externally? Well, externally, it's this shedding of skin, right? So the first card that actually came out was the Eight of Wands. And I was like, great, messages are coming. What are these messages? Like, you know, there's a quickening happening. What is this quickening? And so I really feel like what's happening here is this, you know, it's the light feminine and the dark feminine. This is the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Wands. So we've got 2 7 energies going on. Now, what I see in this is it's finding that like wholeness while those lower parts are being shed. This is the shedding of the snake energy. This is the new radiance and the stuff that got shed away as it. Now, as you can see in this card, the sun is very bright. So that takes us right back to this there's even mirroring qualities of these cards, right? So it takes us right back to this of, you know, the direction of this is about shedding. It's about coming into the light. And she's embodying her light. She's embodying her radiant essence. She's got all the wands here kind of under there and support her. And now these new pieces are starting to come in. So this feels really good in relation to it. I feel like I was told the other day of like, Hailey, you have the patience of a saint. And I was just like, oof, you know, like what is patience? But really like understanding unconditionally that other people are on journeys and that we have to honor and respect those journeys. And sometimes we have to be patient for them. And sometimes we have to walk away because they're moving way too slow. Anyway, so that feels really good for the feminine. I'm loving this. Okay, so, or for those who watch this video. And all right, next we have the Nine of Crystals. This is the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, this is also a cycle of completion. This to me is similar to the Nine of Cups and nearing the Ten of Cups as well as the Ten of Pentacles, because in both of those suits, it is just like this happily ever after coming into being. Now, in this card, there's an element of expectation for this is the inner journey going on. So it's just like, it's still like this pregnant pause that's going on. In the next card in this deck, it's the next morning, and she has apparently labored all through the night and given a birth to a baby on Christmas morning. Jesus much? Come on. Anyway, but what I see here is this real beautiful of the counterpart energy is really dropping into coming to completion to some of these other cycles so that this new cycle can be birthed. Now I asked, what does this look like, you know, kind of in the internal energies and what's looking, and I got the Nine of Wands. Okay, so we got another 9 energy, which represents more completion. So what I see here, and I was like, well, what is this? You know, obviously this is a protective circle. Do we see a mirroring between this protective circle, perhaps? So it's like, it's almost, you know, she's spiritually learning how to protect herself, and this is like the physical embodiment of, but again, these two cards really kind of work together as far as we look at dynamics between counterparts, you know, masculine, feminine, yin and yang. Okay, so, but I was like, okay, well, what is it exactly that, you know, this counterpart is working on, you know, shifting or protecting themselves? Or this could also be a manifestation circle. It's like a preparation to do the spells. And what I got was the Three of Pentacles. Now, this is a card of teamwork, of community, of working together. All right, this is the action of doing the spells and working together in community. So if this is tied in with the counterpart in Earth, I feel like actually feel like this is what the individuals are working on for themselves, not necessarily separate of the union, but kind of in tandem, but not together, right? So it's like this is the preparatory energies for this thing coming in, and we're preparing the space, we're setting the tone, we're laying all the foundations necessary for these next steps emerging. So what are these next steps emerging? Well, the external was the star. All right. So what we see with the star here is, it feels like the setting of intentions from here is moving over to here. And the counterpart energy is also sending out those desires, is listening to their prayers, is making prayers. Now, I don't know what it's like for all the counterpart journeys, or if that is the masculine. I know that the insights that I have from masculines in my life, they've said things of like, well, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. I've spent a lot of time, really sitting with this. And I'm like, well, what does that mean to just sit with it? As women, like we're like, as the feminine energy, we're flowing and we're moving, we don't want to just sit with the thing, but the masculine has to sit and like find that emptiness and that clarity before taking that action. And I love the intention set with this because it's coming straight from the heart and it's being sent out, radiate. Here's the calling, And so if we do a toss back to this as the external energy, the calling is within her, So if this is the prayer that the counterpart is sending out, she is connecting to the prayer and holding it in, but she's holding it in a sacred space. She's holding it in this realm of this is sacred, and I'm not going to allow anything. I'm not going to allow these old energies to come into this. You've got to come whole or come not at all. That has been a reoccurring theme throughout these videos. And it's like regardless of what your dynamic is, you have to pay attention to, well, how am I putting my energy into this connection within the physical? And I know for myself, it's been about kind of not necessarily withdrawing, but reformatting the boundaries so that what comes forward is actually what I want. It is two people who are not only reaching for the highest timeline, but they're activating the highest timeline together and in unison. And they're taking ownership of their own stuff. They're both doing the intentional work of prayer and sending things out. And they're both working on manifesting it so that they both individually and together. Now, it is my understanding, and I haven't gotten to this part of my journey yet, but as I feel into the energies and I read texts and things on sacred union, that, different from a traditional relationship, which is maybe two souls like growing together and they're both on their path and they're supporting each path, which is a type of sacred union, but the more twin flames and, divine counterpart, like, where we're seeing, a lot of you are the yin to my yang sort of deal going on, there is a surrender of the individual paths going on. So you're really merging onto a path together, and that looks more co-creative. It might mean acts of service together, running a business together, creating things, homestead, all of the things that are a lot more direct than just like you go to work, I go to work, and we come home and we talk about our day. And that can be a really beautiful thing, and that's a beautiful way to grow as well. But it feels like the calling within sacred union is really lifting and driving us up to these other points. Okay, so what are we looking at next? So we are looking at the shared energy in the overall lesson. We got the Fool, little red cap. Now, I believe this came out for the feminine just a couple days ago, which may have been the reading I didn't post. I don't know. But anyway, maybe I'll still post it. It'll just be a little out of time. Anyway, so little red cap is the Fool, the new beginnings. And what I see in this is, I want to say like the embracing of your inner butterfly. Like if we are going through a shedding process or a cocoon and transformation type thing, I don't think there is a year of the butterfly, so we can use snake and butterfly simultaneously here. But it's like embracing that beautiful, wondrous part within you that has gone through this process of transformation. Now, this being a new beginning for the pairing, and the overall lesson for the pair is it's like the reset. Like our old selves, we've shed, we've let go of. Like I'm still the bones and blood of the old being, but the outer layers, have been shed and released. So that feels like this message of the new of this thing, of the shared union. So then we move over here to the 4 of challenges, okay? And I was like, okay, well, what does this mean? And I kind of had it crossed, which means this really, like both of the cards that came out for this were crossed. And so I asked for clarification, and I got the Justice card. Okay, so the 4 of challenges, which is this beautiful tree in the frozen wood, met with the Justice card, shows me that there is balance coming. It's like, okay, like we've unfrozen the parts of us, we've rooted in deep, we've extended to the thing, we've, gone into a bloom. All right. But the wood around us is still frozen. So there's still some frozen energies as it relates to the shared energy as things are moving into the physical. But the Justice card coming over and into this tells me that there is balance. If Justice is the scales, he is the gentle strength. This is happening fully, as the feminine is rooted back down to her natural essence and her protection and all of that. The masculine has found ways to reach higher up into spirit and into the crowns, okay? So if we're going back to, I believe, the Egyptian times and the original splits that happened then when we had a lot of priest and priestess work, and, the split is that we both stopped trusting each other because we took away from the other what was going on. And who came first, who did what first, we don't need to point fingers. The thing is we're still healing that split. So if we're healing that split, that means like the woman's got to continue to come down from the crown chakra, and the man's got to go up from the crown chakra. Women are meant to be operating from a gut intuition, where the masculine is more coming from that higher intuition, because they are that action, that is that brain, that swords energy, and of cutting through it. Whereas like the woman is the earth mother, the pentacles, like kind of all of that. So again, the external energy that I asked for is like, well, how is this going to show up? And what do we think that we got? The 4 of Wands! So this is more union. This is more celebrating. And this too fell out crossways. And what it really felt like, again, with these other cards, if this is the more internal union energies, the shared energy, the connection between the two, it's like, okay, like we're levelizing, we're balancing, and we're unionizing. We are joining the union. Yeah, we love unions because they protect us. They keep us safe. I'm not in a union, but I could be if I wanted to be. If I had a job like that. Anyway, so 4 of Wands energy. We got more celebration. All right. We had the 4 of Wands over on this on this piece over here. Now, what's cool is in a lot of the readings lately, there's a lot of signs and synchronicities moving us forward, right? There's a lot of connection between what's happening with the feminine and then what's happening in the shared energy. So what this tells me, or what that means is, per my interpretation, is that the feminine she's not leading the way because no one's leading, but she's holding it down. She's holding the energies and like continuing to course through her magnetism. This is what's coming in. This is what I'm allowing in, and nothing else can come through. That's, again, this protective energy of the 7 of Wands. Okay, so in the end, I'm like, all right, where is this all headed? This feels very positive. This feels like a lot of good growth. And I got the 4 of Wands. So, 4 of Wands, as we know, is the 1111 card. It is the Sacred Union card. It is Twin Flames. It is all of this. Now, this is the 4 of Pipes, and it's 2 beings building a home together. All right. And what I like about both of these beings is they both feel to me to be pretty new earth. Like they feel like both Lemurian and tribal at the same time. Like I think that this is like this true like rainbow tribe. And what was interesting, it's gone now, but when I sat down to do this reading, there was like a full-on prism, not to be confused with prison, a prism on the table that was just like this beautiful little radiant rainbow sitting on my table. I can't figure out where it came from. And as some of you know, I'm remodeling or I'm redoing my floors. So like my home isn't structured the way that it usually is. So this light, this unique light came through to come into this reading and to show that we are making this rainbow connection. So this is 2 beings building a house together, building a home together. They are working together to and they feel connected. They feel happy. They feel like there's even, you know, mirrorings of their outfits, of their shoes. Like they're on the same page. And it feels so in balance, you know. Maybe they're even building this tent to celebrate their wedding, you know, and these are all the beings come. So I don't think I've had duplicates come up in readings before, but I don't ever think 3 times the charm have I drawn the same card. These are all 4 of Wands, all right? And these are all union cards, okay? So if this isn't a good omen, if this isn't a sign and synchronicity of to believe what is coming forward to you, what your heart's yearning coming into being, if that is coming together in union, which I would assume is why you're watching these videos, this is a strong, strong message that 4 of Wands union energy is coming towards the collective very, very deeply. And I just know how hard it's been. I know how difficult at times it's been to shed our skin or to like turn to mush inside of our cocoons, but we are emerging as like these beautiful slippery snakes that are smooth and sensual. We are emerging as these beautiful butterflies, which are also both. When I think of snake, I think of it in the sacred 8, the Ouroboros, which is, you know, the infinity symbol, which is a sign of union. When I think of the butterfly, I think of the 2 wings, you know, connected with the body, the spirit. That's also an incredible sign for union. So I'm feeling good and grounded at this time. I'm excited for what is to come. I know astrologically I've learned a lot about what's kind of happening up there. I'm not going to reiterate. I'd listen to, you know, an astrology update person, but also with this comet, 3-eye atlas. I believe next week we're supposed to have a huge paradigm shift. So just deepen into that trust. Trust that your counterpart is doing the work. They're preparing themselves, and they're preparing themselves for union with you. And you've been preparing yourselves, and you've been holding it. And if you're feeling bored, impatient, you know, I feel angsty at times, that's okay. Try to get back into that heart energy and really be with that heart. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Breathe into it. Breathe into that womb. And connect with all the love that's available to you. Stop wasting time in being in anything but love. You've got this. I believe in you. I believe in me. I believe in all of us who have been doing the work, and those who seemingly haven't, I also believe in them. So here we go. Ascension. Sacred union. Love, truth, union. Away we go. Aho.